to be in awe of. To be in awe of, a healthy fear whereby you are in awe of. It produces honor, it produces respect. A good example of this would simply be a couple years back, I took a road trip with some of my buddies and I got to go to the Grand Canyon. And if you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, it is so amazing. It is so spectacular. And we walked out on this particular cliff where you could actually look over the edge and then you could fall 3,000 feet and die. And in that moment, if you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, you experience Yarah, which is dread and which is terror. You're like, the reality here is one little wrong step, one little slip, and you're bye-bye. Like, that's it. Like, it's over. You're done. And so you have this terror. You have this fear. But at the same time, you look out over the grandness and the expanse and how beautiful and inspiring the Grand Canyon is, and it produces in you Yarah, which is not dread and terror, but awe and majesty and respect for its vastness and for its amazingness. And here's the thing, to experience Yarah, the awe and the wonder of a healthy type of fear, you can't get that through somebody showing you pictures of the Grand Canyon or for someone telling you about it, even just right now. I was up here telling you about it. You're not like, whoa, dude. Like, you don't have that. You don't experience this Yarah, this amazement, this healthy type of fear. You don't have that unless you've been there and you experience it. And this is what's so important for us to understand, is that Yarah, when the scripture tells us to fear the Lord, to be in awe of him, to hold him in honor and reverence and respect because we see how big and grand and amazing he is, Yarah only comes through experience. Yarah is something, dread, that we can have all the time. Yarah, awe, wonder, respect, amazement, this only comes through experience. And here's the problem. When the scripture tells us to fear the Lord, this makes zero sense at all unless you have a relationship with God. Unless you have experienced the vastness and the beauty of God's presence and caught a glimpse of his grace and stood on the canyon and on the edge of his majesty. Unless you have experienced who God is, you cannot have Yarah.